Hello, sir.
Hello there. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent, excellent. It's great to be here.
So, I think we should begin with the interview.
Sure, yes, please, yeah, go ahead. You can start with the questions if you like.
Yes, first let's begin with the introduction. So, I am Mahan Firoz, Marketing Officer at PFL Education. PFL Group International is one of the leading UK-owned and managed student placement agencies. We offer the widest range of services and commitment to our student customers seeking higher education to UK and Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, USA, and the UAE. Today, most of our students study at esteemed universities, and we care for the future based on our quality-oriented practices, knowledge, and education. So today we have with us Mr. Chris, who is an international officer for the University of Northampton. So, sir, shall we begin with the question answer session?
Sure, yeah, please fire away.
So, firstly, I would like to ask about the entry requirements for the undergraduates and postgraduates at the University of Northampton.
Okay, sure, yes. Now, in terms of undergraduate requirements, now, interestingly enough, we do recognize the Pakistan High School Secondary Certificate, I believe it's called. So that's the good news. The bad news is you do need to have a very high grade. So I think the minimum is 75%. If you achieve that and you are 18 years old, then you are eligible to go into the first year of our bachelor degrees. A bachelor or undergraduate degree at the University of Northampton is normally 3 years. That's fairly common in England and Wales. Also, if you've completed a 2 or 3 year bachelor degree in Pakistan, or the equivalent of that, you know, some sort of diploma, you are eligible to join maybe the final year of one of our degrees. So that's possible. Again, we would be looking for a minimum of 60% in your studies. If you're looking to join a master degree, and the majority, I think over 90% of applications we receive from Pakistan are for students who are looking to join one of our master degrees. As you all probably know, they're only 1 year, so that's a competitive advantage. If you've studied, again, a 4-year bachelor degree, or maybe a 2 or 3 year bachelor degree plus a master degree in Pakistan, that's absolutely fine. And again, we'd be looking for a minimum score of 60% overall. Yeah. I know that may sound a little bit complicated, but you know, Pakistan is quite interesting because there's such a variety of different qualifications. So it's different to other countries. So what we try to do is we try to take all of this into account.
Okay, so next thing is, what is the tuition fee structure for both the undergrads and postgrad students?
Okay. The tuition fee for the undergraduate degree program is £13,000 per year. That's 13,000 pounds sterling. And remember, bachelor degree is typically 3 years. For a master degree, not much different. So for nearly all of our master degrees, the tuition fee is £14,000, so 1-4. The only subject that is slightly different is the MBA, the Master of Business Administration. This is by far the most popular subject at our university, and certainly the majority of applicants from Pakistan want to study this program. That is priced at 14,900. So not much difference. And I'm sure all of you out there who are interested in an MBA, you will know, if you've done any research, that is a very competitive price.
Yes, sir. So, how much does it cost for a living around the campus or the
Yeah.
accommodations?
Well, those of you out there who have studied accounting or business, you will know that the cost of living is pretty much a variable cost, with the exception of your rent. So that's the majority of how much you will be spending. Now, if you've ever been to London before, either to study or on holidays, you'll know that it is quite expensive. London is one of the most expensive places in Europe, certainly in the UK. As soon as you move out of the city, prices become cheaper. Northampton is a town located 1 hour by train from central London. So, in terms of the total cost of living for 1 year, I would budget around £8,000. Again, as I said, it's a variable cost. I mean, just to give you some ideas of how much your accommodation would cost, our cheapest accommodation is, I guess, around £3,500 for the year. We have added some extra discounts because of the COVID situation. So around 8,000, £9,000 for the living costs, you'll be okay.
So, what is the QSNTHE ranking of this university?
Well, I don't know is the short answer. I mean, there's so many different rankings. The problem with QS is, or QS rankings, is they tend to look at universities all over the world. I mean, many people ask me, what is the world ranking? Most UK universities would be in the top 500. One ranking which has just come through recently is the Complete University Guide. Now, this ranks universities in the UK. That put us as 88 out of 130. So fairly average there. We do not tend to appear, unfortunately, in the top 50 of rankings because in the UK there is so much competition. I mean, if you think of Leicester, Manchester, Sheffield, Leeds, these are all very old, very research active universities. The University of Northampton is one of the more modern in the UK. That's why, at the moment at least, our rankings tend to be quite modest. But the final thing I will say about ranking is the only ranking which was established by the UK government is called Teaching Excellence Framework, TEF. They have ranked our university as the top 40 in the UK for teaching excellence. So we are very proud of that. And you can check that out online, TEF Gold.
Of course, I will check about it. So what are the famous subjects for Pakistani students? You mentioned about the MBA, and what other subjects Pakistani students could excel in at your prestigious university? And is there any different ranking of each department for that?
Yeah, I mean, again, when it comes to ranking, you have to be careful because the rankings don't always make much sense. So is there a difference between being ranked 30 and 40 in the various subjects? There's not a big deal. The most popular subjects for students from Pakistan are our master programs in business related subjects. So certainly the MBA, also our masters in accounting and finance. We tend to get a lot of applications from students who have studied the ACCA. Another very popular subject is our masters in project management. Now, the majority of students we see for that tend to be people who have studied engineering and they want to work in a company. And even though I'm not an engineer, I know that if you're working in a firm that does construction or engineering, they have lots of projects. So if you want to develop your career and rise up and be a supervisor or manager, having a qualification in project management is essential. So that is a very popular subject. There's marketing, also masters in computing. We have 5 different majors there. Public health, a very popular subject at the moment, but it always has been. That is designed for students who have a health background. Maybe they are a doctor or a nurse or a paramedic, or maybe they're even an administrator working in a hospital, and they just want to develop their skills further.
Right. All right. So, sir, does your prestigious university allow students to get IELTS test or accept any other alternative English test like Duolingo?
We continue to increase the number of English tests that we recognize. So obviously in first place, you've got the IELTS. So we recognize IELTS Academic and UKVI. We also recognize the TOEFL Home Edition. Now, I don't think you can get the normal TOEFL test in Pakistan, but the Home Edition should be available. And the advantage of that is quite flexible. Others that we accept is the Pearson PTE test, which is another big test. Now, I know we've had feedback from some of our partners in Pakistan that especially during the pandemic, getting access to some of these big tests has been a bit difficult. Unfortunately, we don't have our own test, but what we are considering another test called the Pearson Versant. Now, the advantage to students is we organize it, and again, you can do it from your home. It is completely AI, artificial intelligence. So you sit there in a room, you have to be by yourself, your laptop, your headphones, a speaker, and the camera monitors you. So we hope that we can use that for future intakes, but we
It's
need
very
to,
convenient, sir.
yeah, we need to confirm that, yeah.
So, what scholarship opportunities do you provide, or what is the eligibility criteria?
Well, as I said, the sort of minimum grades that we're looking for is around 60%. Now, if you achieve higher than that, let's say as low as 63%, then you start to get a scholarship. The advantage of our university is you don't have to apply for the scholarship. They are automatic. We have an unlimited number of scholarships. The only limit is the maximum allowance you can get. So you either get 10%, 20%, or a 30% discount on your fee. And especially for those out there who are thinking of a bachelor degree, you will keep that scholarship for each of the 3 years. Yes. So
So,
that can make a very, very substantial difference in terms of your
course,
overall costs.
of course. So, what accommodation does this institute provides, and how costly it is?
Yeah. When you go to our website, and I would advise students out there to please go there and have a look. You go to Northampton, then you click on international, and then you look around there, you'll see the accommodation tab. We have 3 types of accommodation. 2 of them are on campus. Our campus is called Waterside, and it is located in the center of town. I should have mentioned that earlier. It's actually nearly brand new. We only opened it 3 years ago at a cost of 400 million US dollars. So it is one of the most modern UK university campuses. So the accommodation is also very modern. There are 2 types on campus, one of them called Waterside, and another accommodation block called St. John's, which is literally located just across the road from the main entrance. Now, because that's on campus, the prices tend to be around £120 per week. It depends on the type of room. We've got small room, big room, we even have some apartment, but the majority of our rooms are private. So you get your own private bedroom with your own private bathroom. We can also do female only accommodation if you wish. So prices for that start around £120, £125. A lot of students from Pakistan, I've noticed, they tend to favor our 3rd accommodation block, which is called the Student Village, or another name for it is Scholars Green. Now that is off campus. It's located approximately 3 miles away. Now that is not inconvenient because we have our own bus service. It's free, so you don't have to pay for it, and the buses run every half an hour. Because it is off campus, that accommodation starts from £88 per week. And I actually say we've just had some recent news for students from Pakistan. Because of the COVID situation, you will be getting a substantial discount on that accommodation if you choose it, an extra £750.
That's great.
And you still get your own private bedroom with your own private bathroom.
So, what are the main attractions of your location and support for international students?
Well, the main advantages, and I'm being very honest here because I myself, I'm not from Northampton. I'm actually from Sheffield, which is in the north. But Northampton is a typical British European town of 200,000. So it's not crowded, but it's not dull either. There's plenty to do. There's cafes, there's restaurants, there's museums. We've got an Apple store, plenty to see and do. We are exactly 1 hour by train from central London, as I mentioned, also 1 hour from Birmingham. So we're very close to the two biggest cities in the UK. And I'm sure many of you out there probably have friends and family living in these other cities. So it's easy for you to visit, or if you want to do some shopping or see the football, it's very convenient. And we're not too far from other places like Oxford, for example, Leamington Spa, Coventry. England is not a big place, and it's very easy to get around. So I would say that is a big advantage. I think I forgot the second half of your question, sorry.
The support part.
The what, sorry?
The support part,
Oh,
like the support for
support.
international students. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, during normal times, yes, we do offer, for instance, a free airport pickup service from London Heathrow Airport. We've had to stop doing that during the COVID times because the airport won't allow it. But we do offer full support for international students. We do an induction. We help you to open a bank account, help you to register with our on-campus doctor, which is free of charge. You pay for that during your visa. It's called the NHS fee. We have counselors on campus. We've got student union that you're automatically a member of. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do everything they want, but, you know, they have dozens of clubs and societies, so it is quite interesting. And of course, you have people like me, the international office, are also there to give you help and advice, well as a separate visa support team. Especially as many of you probably have heard about the new graduate route visa. So because that's brand new, we've had special seminars about that to assist students. So we offer a very, very full range of support.
So, sir, as it was mentioned on the website, University of Northampton provides international students different and extra perks and benefits. So, would you like to add a few points about it?
What benefit is that, sorry?
Different international students' perks and benefits.
Oh,
I
right,
was
yes.
going through the website, yeah.
Okay. In terms of perks and benefits, we try to do something different every year. So we tend to tweak these things. Some of those benefits are also for UK students. So please, when you're on the website, everybody, don't get confused. The biggest benefit, as I've just mentioned, is the international scholarships. That is very, very significant. Another added benefit, again, I mentioned a few minutes ago, is the extra discount on our student village accommodation. So it was already quite cheap for what it is, for good quality accommodation, but an extra £750. The clubs and societies that I mentioned, that is everything from male and female basketball, hockey, football, student societies, Islamic Society, Christian Union, Doctor Who fan club, gaming society, they're all free to join. During your studies, there are usually opportunities for trips across the UK, also maybe to other countries, for instance, in Europe, with our business courses. As you're a student, you'll receive a student card, which enables you to get discounts on anything from Pizza Hut to clothing and Amazon. So it's lots of different things there.
So the question has been raised about the Masters in Psychology program. Student wants to know about it.
Yes, we've actually revamped our psychology programs recently. So the Masters in Psychology is actually quite flexible. So even if you've only studied a little bit of psychology before, you'll still be eligible for it. But there are different routes. So you can focus, for instance, on cognitive or counseling or therapy. So it does offer flexibility. And the tuition fee is the same as all the other programs.
Another student is asking about, are you accepting PTA percent test or not? You mentioned about it.
Yeah, we're hoping to come to a decision on that very, very soon. We've had some issues with Versant, because when we first said we would accept it, which I think was in late April, it was based on how the test is conducted in Europe. But then we very quickly realized in Pakistan, it was very different. And so we were receiving results which did not have the student's photo on, and it didn't have a confirmation number. Versant were unable to verify the authenticity. So this was unexpected, and this created a bit of a problem for us. So what we are looking at doing is running the Versant test ourselves. So we will have full control over it. So we hope to confirm as soon as possible that we will be able to do that for September intake. But I do have some advice for the students out there, is whatever test you are going to take, please try as much as possible to prepare, okay? I mean, I've never been to Pakistan, I've traveled the world, but I understand that the general level of English in Pakistan is actually quite high. But what you might not realize is, like, maybe your speaking and your reading is excellent, but maybe you guys like me, you don't do much writing anymore, or you're using it computer packages with spelling correct and so on. So please don't just assume that everything's going to be fantastic. If you can, take some classes if your English is a bit rusty, or just do whatever you can. Talk to your agent, talk to PFL about what assistance may be available for you.
Thank you for answering this question. Okay, sir, my next question would be about the different safety measures universities taking against the corona pandemic.
Yeah, yeah. The situation has eased up in the UK, as you may have been hearing in the news. I myself, I am 39 years old. I had my first jab a few weeks ago. The majority of the adult population in the UK has received at least one jab, which is absolutely fantastic. Restaurants are open, shops are open, people can move around. Some face-to-face classes are happening. I mean, obviously, we're in the summer holidays at the moment, but certainly from September, we do expect to be doing a significant amount of face-to-face teaching. And we hope by that time that social distancing will come to an end. We follow the advice from the UK government. They initially had a deadline of June 21st. Everything returned back to normal. They've had to push that back a little bit because of the new Delta variant you might have heard about. I mean, obviously, this virus very rarely affects young people out there, so that's good. But we hope that certainly by September, we can bring you guys to campus. But we have put measures in place. So with our most popular programs, like the ones I've mentioned, students can do online study from your home in Pakistan until you're able to come and join us on campus. We do have hand sanitizer everywhere. We do have face masks. The cleaning regime has been upped. So we're following all the government advice, but we really are hoping that by September things start to return back to normal.
Sir, does the university provide job placement to the students?
Yes, another reason why those masters in business subjects like MBA, project management, accounting, so on, are popular is you can either just do the 1 year masters, that's fine, or we do offer the option of an extra year's paid placement. Now, that is not guaranteed, especially during these sort of difficult times. But what happens is the student will work with the business school to look for jobs. We do work with companies both locally and nationally who are very happy to take on our students. I know a big local employer is called Barclaycard. They operate the Visa credit cards in the UK. So they do tend to employ a lot of our business and accounting students. So yes, options, placements are available. If you're interested, for example, in part-time work, so just work to do in the evenings or weekends, help pay for your living costs, jobs are available as well. I think one of the advantages of Northampton, due to our location, we are a logistics hubs. So you have a lot of these warehouses and transport companies that always need sort of part-time workers. So that can come in handy.
So are you currently accepting applications?
Sorry, say that again, I missed that.
Are you currently accepting applications?
Yes, now our next intake is September. So the current deadline for master degree applications is the 15th, 15 of August.
Okay.
We think that's fair because we don't like to overpromise. You know, if people apply late, it can be quite stressful. But we also have a January intake. So if you're going to miss the September, or if you're not sure, you know, maybe if you're worried about COVID, both the COVID situation at home or in the UK and how it might affect your studies, we do have a January intake. We've even been experimenting with a May intake as well.
So, sir, I would like to know your final words to encourage students to apply.
Well, in my experience of working in UK higher education, I've worked for 3 universities, but you know, I know a lot about other universities. I think the advantage that Northampton offers to you, and this doesn't just come from me, you know, I have spoken to nearly every applicant from Pakistan because we have to do what is called a short interview, credibility interview. And they always say the same as what I think. We combine modern facilities with a great location in the UK, a high quality of education at a very reasonable price. And I'm sure that when you look at some other universities, every university has its own tuition fee, its scholarship policy, etc. You will see that we are very competitive. And we do have a substantial community from Pakistan. I think each intake we recruit 70 students. So we have a very decent population now.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your time. This was actually very informative.
You're very welcome.
All right. Have a nice day.
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.
Take care.